Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to, I guess, the first edition or episode of Ghost Stories, or whatever you want to call it. We're just going to fly by the seat of our pants here and just shoot from the hip. Nothing really planned. So if anybody has any stories, too, and you want to come up and tell them, make it known in the chat, and we can add you up to the panel here. So Juelz has some stories. I have a few. Tab might join in. I know Drazo does. So,
well, no, and then the one I was just talking to you guys about before we even started, that might be kind of interesting too to go off of. And it's almost Halloween. Oh my God,
yeah,
Johnny Mac.
Yeah.
Then it's almost kind of our friendship anniversary because we met y'all right around this time. What, 2 years ago?
2 years.
It was 2 years ago.
Wow, that's like that. Those 2 years went by fast, real fast.
Don't rush it,
We were in
Jules.
Florida. You were on the phone a lot.
Yeah. It was. It kind of took over my life for just a little bit.
You don't say. You don't say.
But yeah,
I don't know anything about. Oh boy, I don't know anything about that.
I know, right? It's. But yeah. So last night, guys, we went on a little excursion. We stopped at the. There's a little dairy whippy dip ice cream stand down the road here. So we stopped, got some ice creams, and then we went down to the Pioneer Cemetery. And I was thinking, because I've been feeding you guys a lot of cemetery stuff. So you guys, you kind of are hip to that. You know kind of what goes on, what we're going to get. So I was like, well, what else could we kind of do to keep it, exciting and fresh? So I got this little flashlight. You guys have seen it on shows before where they say, can you light the flashlight up? And they light it up on cue and all that. So we had one of the Tottens really very, very talkative with the flashlight. And
it's not a regular flash. What type of flashlight is it? Do you have it to show
yes,
what it looks
I
like?
do have it. Yep.
I'm kind of curious what that looks like. Hi, everybody, by the way, in the chat.
Hello,
It is.
everybody.
So we actually bought a bunch of them. We returned a few of them. So all it is this. It's just this right here. You twist the end. That's all.
So just like a regular one?
Just a regular mini mag light. That's
Okay,
it.
so it's not any kind of special thing. It's just a regular flashlight that.
Nope. So you twist it right to where, boom, it's off, right? It's off right there. But if you just twist it a little bit, it'll turn on. You set it down, and they get this thing turning on and off pretty good. Yeah.
So wait, so it's just like on the verge of going on. You live it right on that edge.
Very close to that. Yep. But the problem we had though is that cemetery is a pioneer cemetery. These people are from the 17 and 1800s. They didn't have flashlights, so this would be like a torch to them. So I had to basically explain what it was, how to use it, and I've tried this there before. It didn't work. I tried it again last night. I really explained in detail, and they were lighting it up. Then we left, came back to the other side, and he wasn't there. So we turned the spirit box back on. I was like, what, did he leave or something? And as soon as I turned it on, somebody's like, he left. So he did leave. But so that's coming soon, guys.
That was pretty awesome.
It was really cool. So you get.
So what, you're gonna bring the flashlight to the cemeteries, or you're just gonna bring it wherever you go?
Well, from now on, I'm gonna be using like the K2 meter. I'm gonna get a REM pod. Besides the spirit box, I want to give you guys some more validation that what we're doing is legitimate, right?
I see.
So basically what we did last night is I was able to narrow down because I know so many of the Totten names. I narrowed it down to who he was. And it wasn't Samuel Totten, the one that comes through all the time. Wasn't him. It was Emmett. And you guys may have heard the name Emmett brought up. So it was one of the last ones I brought up. He validated that with the flashlight. And then as soon as we cut the spirit box on, he says Emmett. The first thing he says is Emmett. Yep. So
wow.
So it's really, really cool, guys. So we're going to be bringing some cool stuff. But we already have, but we're going to keep it up. We're going to try to make it better and better. So tomorrow morning, I'll give you a little hint. Can't tell you where we're going, but we have to put on like wading boots and freaking
boots on the ground, literally.
Yeah, we're going off terrain in this one, guys, and it's going to be a place where Ghost Adventures, where the Ghost Adventures crew was at too. So
Oh, don't give it away.
I know. Thank you, Drazo. I was gonna say that, but I'm like, he's getting close to
what
just
do you
saying
mean?
it.
They've been at, come on, 28 seasons. How many places have they been to off road? Like a million. Like, you can probably guess, but I'm not going to tell you no more. It should be fun though. What they didn't do, and what if I looked up online on YouTube, there's a few other people that have done what we're going to do, but they don't bring a spirit box, and they didn't bring a spirit box. They don't bring all the tools that we're bringing. So I mean, I'm going to take it a step further than the rest of the people do. That's the point, right? That's what we're trying to do. So a lot of people are now convinced about the paranormal. Most of us, I was just reading about after-death communication, and they say that like 70% of people, just regular people, any of us, have had experienced after-death communication from a loved one. Whether it's like a dream, you have a dream, they come to you in a dream, then you find out they've passed. That's a very common thing. So if you guys, I know Drazo.
Oh, absolutely. I have. I've had a couple of. I've had at least two of them. Two of them that were very, very evident and very like, oh my gosh. My friend Paul took his life years ago. It was right after Kurt Cobain did too. I'll never forget that. And I never got to say goodbye to him. He had a pill addiction, and he was really, really out there. And I just didn't understand that. I just didn't. And so I kind of distanced myself. And so when he passed, I felt really bad. Like, oh my gosh, I wasn't there for him. I didn't get to, blah, 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 blah. And I felt really bad about it. And it was months after he passed. And I woke up one morning and I completely felt he was just here. And what happened is he came to me in my bed, in my room at night. It was exactly where I was. And we sat there and I told him how sorry I was. I never said goodbye. He forgave me, and he told me he understood why I was never around, and and he hugged me, and we said goodbye. And I woke up in the morning like with that feeling like, oh my gosh, he was here. And that's the biggest one. That is the absolute. The other one was an ex-boyfriend that was murdered, and he came but we went somewhere else. It's like he came to my room and then we went somewhere else. It was the weirdest thing. That was a little different, but it was another feeling of we didn't have those kind of conversations like I did with my friend, but it was a feeling of like, oh my gosh, I was just with him. It was just the weirdest thing. But with my friend Paul, though, I'll never forget it. We were sitting with our legs crossed on my bed facing each other talking. Like I can remember every second of it. And that was just and he never came back. But but I don't think he needed to, because I think he just came to say goodbye and, to kind of have closure. And we did.
Good.
But I'll never forget that. It was the realest thing I've ever felt.
That's crazy.
I've had a couple of strange, not as profound things like that, but things that I've over time, you start to like wonder, did that really happen? Was it as profound as I thought? I guess yours never faded. I had a few of those that have kind of faded over time. I start to second guess myself, was I crazy? But yeah, like having the validation now, it really just drives it home. It's just how real it is. That's a gift though. Because
Jen and Barrett, it felt amazing. The next morning, it just
lifted off your shoulders.
Yeah, it was just so amazing. Like he came to me, we said goodbye, and it was just all of the what ifs, and I wish I was there, and all of those things, they just went away, and that was amazing, and I'll never ever forget that.
That's really cool, and that's the most common, I think, is in the dream type of thing, like that. I'm a big Crew fan. I think I've made that known many times. I like Crew. I like 80s hair bands, but Vince Neil lost his daughter to I believe leukemia, but he also had an experience where his daughter came to him at night, and they played together and spent some time together, and it's
when he was really struggling.
When he was
right?
really
like
struggling
with her death, I remember.
Yeah, and some of that, and I got to be honest. I when I watched some of those like the celebrity ghost stories, I was a little skeptical. I'm always very skeptical, anyways, by nature. But that I've looked into the after death communication with the dreams, man. It's a very common thing, and I'm more of a believer now.
Hey, Ron.
And the chat, hey everybody, thank you for dropping by. And I always forget to do that. So
hey Thistle, good to see you.
Amy Lou, Sweet Grace, Lisa Ann, of course Juelz is right here in Drazo. We got there's the wife. I'm too wise.
We have got a great group in here tonight. We really do.
No problem starters, just good people.
Nope.
Miss Lisa, Susie Q, Kate.
No, and refreshing conversation that's not drama. It's very nice.
I had shared the link with Mama P.
Okay.
I was in there earlier.
Last night, I got a friend of mine. Well, Sessa lost. Everybody that watches my channel know that he lost his son. He came through so clearly last night.
Wow.
I said, because he said Philadelphia, and I was like, Philadelphia? That's Sessa. That's my boy Chris. And he goes, I'm Chris. He goes, I'm Chris. And then he goes, it's Chris is in peace. So like that is the message that, and it says that a message for Aunt.
Yeah. Message
for Aunt. And that's what I call him.
Oh, wow.
Sessa, I call him Aunt, Big Aunt. That's what I call him, Big Aunt. And Code calls him Aunt. Everybody that knows him calls him Aunt. So it's a message for Aunt. They get very specific, but that was the message. And it's here recently. We had the anniversary. We had unloading some of the stocks and some of the businesses and stuff that his sons that he was hanging on to for just because it was his sons, So it was some of that validation that he's needed, and that really made it worth it last night. So we had that. Who else came through? So much. We had last night was a crazy one.
Yeah, my family.
Her family, for some reason, is really coming through. Like now, all of a sudden, all this time,
a lot.
And that's the thing. Like, have I wanted? I have not done this, guys. Have I wanted to possibly open up the spirit box and start talking to some of the people that we know on here that have passed? We've known a few of them. Have I done that? No, I haven't. I haven't done that because I let who comes through come through. I don't go asking for people. I don't know. I feel some type of way about that, guys. I don't know why. I know people.
Well, I know if I were to be gone, please don't try to contact me. Let me go. If I want to talk to y'all, I'll come looking for y'all.
Well, I have a feeling that your sense of humor, you might find a way to fool with a few people, though. But that's
maybe. But it's just that's why I always think like if people pass away, just let them go.
I'll haunt you. I'll fuck with you. I'm gonna tell you right now. I will fuck with each and every one of you. Like the lights are gonna be flickering, the TV's gonna go on and off. You're gonna know that's Mac.
This is
I'm right there with you, bro.
This is creepy like that. But my uncle took his life years ago. And he left a letter. And in that letter, he said that he was going to haunt us all. And every time we looked in mirrors and looked at fixtures that were swaying, it was going to be him. Isn't that horrible?
Oh, my goodness.
He said he was going to haunt us.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Like, my brother passed.
He's never done it. I've never seen anything that was about him, thank goodness.
But that doesn't mean he's not there, though, because maybe he was. He
meant it in a negative way. My father was, or my uncle was in a bad way when he. I mean, he took his own life.
Well, I mean, sometimes they know that those moments pass. You know what I mean? Like, because I know of at least 3 people that have passed from that come through for me. One of them being Steve-O. And I know that when he left a letter. I have it. Not going to post it or anything like that. It's a very, very hard read, but he was very adamant about. He was very strong-willed about certain points, kind of like your uncle. He's not like that anymore. Things have changed since he's passed. So I think that maybe, that things have changed since then. Hopefully. But can you imagine that? Every time you open the medicine cabinet or you go to shut the medicine cabinet, you have to close your eyes because you're afraid there's going to be somebody standing behind you. That's the type of crap that Hollywood has programmed people so badly, like their PTSD. Like, how many people, raise your hand, everybody, if you think about a face, right outside the shower when you're washing your hair and your eyes are closed, does that ever cross your mind?
Not so much that, but it's always the mirror. You guys remember the Bloody Mary, where you're supposed to do the things looking into the mirrors? Bloody Mary. What was that chant? So you know what I mean? I mean, we literally were trying to conjure images up into the mirror when we were kids. Yeah. We were asking for them. I remember one of my friends when we were younger, in my parents' back bathroom, above the mirror, there was an electrical outlet. And my friend decided that she was going to give offerings to Bloody Mary. And so my parents had some fake roses, like they had the wire. She was starting to stick them in there. I'm like, you're going to electrocute yourself. You're not going to bring Bloody Mary here. But no, we used to do that crap all the time.
Don't stick the fork in the outlet.
Yeah, it was basically the same thing. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, that's not just a crevice. That's an electrical outlet. But no, there was that. And then light as a feather, stiff as a board. We used to do that one too.
Oh, of course.
That. Yes.
Of course. And how many times has it worked? It's
several. We've had it work several. It's so much that it freaked us out. My friend woke up in the air and freaked out and fell. Yes.
No shit.
I'm telling you, wow. I don't mess with spooky stuff very much because I don't know.
Well, Ouija boards,
no.
Those I'm not a big fan of. First, because people have to touch them, but I saw the little pointer thing shoot off of a board one time without anybody touching it. It went right off the board, and that was enough for me. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah,
it's negative. I've told people this before. When I was junior high school, we used to play with it all the time. And my mom was fascinated with how it would move for us. My mom would sit there and write down all the letters and everything. And she went and she bought different Ouija boards. She bought one of the little planchettes that had a drawing one where there's a pencil in it. And that shit scared me. I don't mess with it. I've never touched a Ouija board since. Never. Freaks me out. It's a window, and I don't want to open that window for anybody.
That's the thing. Like, it really is dangerous. They market that as a toy. You can buy that in the toy section. You can get some really nasty attachments from that.
Yep.
Kind of like the bullshit that I have to deal with. Well, look, Anna is a nasty, nasty woman. She says she's got a very foul mouth. Short of that, she can't do shit, man. She's powerless. She's just got a foul mouth. But you get one that can like turn flashlights on. They can move things around and shit. They can really like wreak havoc on somebody that has a very low tolerance to that stuff. I got a high tolerance.
Mine low. Because I believe in it, and it freaks me out. And I'm not gonna lie, there's something here in this building. Somebody took their life in the basement here, and hung himself actually. And really? Not when I lived here; it was before I moved in. But you can feel the energy in here. I could feel it's really weird because some nights no big deal. I go to bed, no big deal. There's certain nights when I go to bed and I feel there's somebody in here with me and following me to bed. Well, not really following me, but like eyes following me to my room. That's how I feel, and it's just weird.
It's very easy, still.
Yeah.
Like I can't, if I'm turning the lights off downstairs, I can't look at the glass door on my way up. I have to like round the corner, like without looking at the glass door. Like,
because they go there. Like they will come to that door, and that's where Raymond was. I've heard the knocks, I've seen the shadows there, and I've gotten EVPs right outside that door.
They'll go anywhere where it's reflective.
That's it. Yes, it's just like the mirror.
Yes.
It's any kind of like reflection or something you could like see through to see something.
But that's been going on since before we did the spirit box shit. We've had weird shit happening since way back.
But I was never really as creeped out as I am now.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're. Here's my thing: is I think you're more perceptive to it now. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're watching for it, and I think that you're more aware of it happening. Just as I think, in my opinion, I think the reason why more people have the type of experiences at night, like I did, of people visiting and whatnot, is because your mind is more clear and able to accept them in when you're sleeping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. But one little misconception though about haunts and ghosts and stuff is I get just as much evidence during the day as I do at night.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is I found that the kind of like the song "The Freaks Come Out at Night." They kind of do. Like the negatives do come out, and they do. Like I see. If you had the soundboard here, you could be playing them.
I know.
But
right.
They do though.
Come out at night.
It's a different feeling though going into those cemeteries at night. It does shift. And we lived in a building that had so there wasn't we never really confirmed this, and we should probably look into that now. But the rumor was in our building that a child was killed.
Like she drowned.
She was drowned in one of the bathtubs, and we had some major paranormal activity there. Now, the rumors got spread so ridiculously, like the kid was dismembered and you could see just a leg walking up the steps, and that's hogwash. I mean, I lived there how many years? 7 years we lived there. I never saw no leg. I never saw no, but in our place, shadow figures, shadow play big time, and noises, orbs, stuff like that. But yeah, like that's I think in almost every apartment building, unless they're brand new, has had death at some point.
Yeah, think about how many people have lived here, how many different, you know what I mean? There's a lot. My neighbors, the couple of neighbors in here sage all the time, and I think that was after the guy took his life. But no,
and then it goes from there to you. So they sage, it pushes them over to you, and then you feel uncomfortable, and then he moves along to the. That's what happens though. I felt like we didn't always have that, and that apartment building, it wasn't always there. Sometimes it was gone, but we had a neighbor, an apartment right next to us we were on the top floor that nobody ever stayed there. It was like a rotating door. They stayed maybe 2-3 months and they would be gone. And it was just weird. But I know that we had some pretty crazy paranormal shit going on there. So
well, my Trip, my cat, he loves to play with ghosts, and he does look and he does see things in here.
Yes.
But you know what's really funny? How you said, newer apartments. When I was in Wisconsin, the place in Wisconsin, that building wasn't that old. It was fairly new. And when I moved there, I always thought it was weird. I'm like, how come the rest of the town is really old? Well, I found out the area I lived in was completely taken out by tornadoes. And so anyway, I really and truly feel that it was that the spirit that was in there was left over from the tornado. That's what I feel. I feel it was somebody that lost their life over there. It's really weird. And I hate the fact that I feel that way, because I don't think I'm any type of whatever. But you know what? Sometimes I just get really big feelings about it. And that's that. Because that is one of the reasons also that I looked into the area where I lived, is because it was just weird. I'm like, this part's new. I'm like, but there's definitely something in here. Trip would run up and down the hallway with it.
Yeah. And that's, see, you actually have some extra defense. You have a cat, like cats and dogs are the first ones, because they can see in that spectrum. We have a very limited spectrum that we see in, like about this much. and like, it happens just outside of our spectrum. But cats and dogs see in that spectrum, and it's a lot of it's in the IR or the UV is what it is, UV, because I did a video on that. You know,
and also I think it falls back to them are more open to things because they're not naysayers like us. You know what I mean? Like, oh, there's no such thing. They just see it like, hey, there's something here right now, and that's that. It is what it is. But no, it's funny because Allie doesn't do it. It's Trip. Trip is the one that runs around with the ghosts. Always has. Was in Wisconsin, and it's here every once in a blue moon.
Some don't care. Some just don't care. Some cats.
Yeah, maybe Allie doesn't care. That could probably
just don't
be it.
care. You know,
she only cares about food.
Yeah, well, that's. I've had cats like that too. That's their pretty much their own motivators, food, snacks, you know, and a little bit of loving. But yeah, like a ghost. You know, my dogs that passed, she would notice that stuff. She saw an orb one time. That's how I saw it. We walked in. She's like going. Ruff. She's making like the little bitty barks. You know, like she sees something. You know, and I look, and it's like a little concentrated ball of like heat wave looking thing, and it was like going around, and she saw it, and that's what got my attention. But yeah, they can see that stuff. It's really cool.
So I really think that, so before this stream started, guys, we were talking backstage about stuff about a friend of mine that has a haunted place and this and that. You know, Johnny Mac, you and your wife probably should come to Chicago for Halloween. Do you know they also do haunted ghost tours? They do the haunted like mob ghost tours, all of that stuff. And
Cool.
There is a shitload. There's also Bachelor Grove Forest Preserve and stuff. There are so many, because when you said orbs, I remember as a teenager going to that cemetery and looking for orbs and finding them and freaking out. It was very scary. But no, there's so many different places around here within such a small area. You know what I mean? Like only within like maybe 15 miles apart from all these places. You know, you could cover a lot of ground in it. And Chicago's a fun place to go. So there's that.
Have you been? We talked about going to Chicago not too long ago because you can actually get on Amtrak. And it's like an 8-hour Amtrak, but I mean, it's a shorter drive. But when you're on Amtrak, you can kick back. You can go to the bar.
The way to really fly. Isn't that the slogan? The way to really fly. But no, there is so many places like that. I mean, and also you have the Valentine Massacre spot. You know, you can go there with your spirit box. There's a lot of really neat places.
There's
Johnny,
a place there.
What about Salem? You ever go to Salem?
No, I heard that's cool too.
I went. You know, the creepy mesh guy. Invited me. He invited me up that way because that's his neck of the woods, and he wanted me to go up there and do that. I thought about it. I would like to. It's on the list. I mean, that's one of those things that if you're in the paranormal field, you know, you eventually get around to that. But yeah, I mean, that would be a good one. But Chicago, yeah, I did one. I did a show, not a show, but I did a video. It's like a stereo shop, but it was called Casa Madrid, and it was owned by a mobster. His name was Rocco de Grazia, and he actually supplied all the guns and the whatever the supplies were needed for the St. Valentine's Day massacre. And he actually died in that building at the age of like 78. But it used to be, he had a little gambling operation. There was a guy murdered in the basement. It was on Paranormal Cops. But I bet you that place, if I went and knocked on the door and told them what I did and what I'm into, I bet you I could get in there. I bet you I could. That's what I need to do is cold knock.
Oh my gosh. And you know where else you need to go? Oh my goodness. All of these things are coming to my head. So then go up to Milwaukee. There is and it's, oh my gosh, this is perfect. It is the Rave Club. It's a music venue. It's got 3 stories and the pool is haunted. If you look into it, it is creepy. I even showed some pictures because we accidentally ended up down there. They do let people go down there for tours. Remember Mac Miller? He wrote in there right before he died. That was like one of the last places he went before he died.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, across the street from there is where Jeffrey Dahmer's first victim was killed.
Ooh, that would be
that
would be.
We do have some things like that in mind.
Yes,
yeah,
we have big ones.
So no, that's what I'm saying. There's tons of those places. What, I'm cutting out bad? Am I?
I hear you.
No, you're not cutting out. I don't hear you cutting out.
Forever said I was
Could be
cutting out.
her end.
But yeah, that I found out that there was a Dahmer victim over there afterwards, because what happened was we ended up making a wrong turn in a stairwell, and then we're going down, and all of a sudden we end up in this creepy pool. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? This is weird. It looks like somebody was killed here. So anyway, I looked into it afterwards, and it used to be like some really popular hotel, like country club type hotel, and the pool was downstairs, and there were people that were drowned and died down there. And so anyway, they ended up closing the pool, and it is definitely haunted. It is absolutely haunted.
Because I have a GoPro, and it's waterproof. So like, even if it's
the pool's not, there's nothing in the pool. It's empty.
It's empty now. Like but I've seen even ghost hunters. They've investigated some, like there was one hotel was like a spa, and they had this mineral water in this pool that they saw apparitions there, and they submerged their gear and stuff like that. But I'm just saying, like, I can even the water can't stop me. The Macs are gonna get in the water with the GoPro and everything. We're going all out.
Sandra says my grandson was 11 months old. He was at the table playing peekaboo and smiling towards the kitchen, and no one was there. Same thing happened with my niece.
Yeah, our daughter
freaked me out. Her baby brother had passed, and she saw him. I was babysitting her, and she's sitting there, and she starts laughing, and I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Dimmy funny," and I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Dimmy right there," and she's pointing, and I'm like, I started crying. I called my mom. I said, "Mom, you need to come here." I said, "She sees her brother. I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out." And then you know what happened that night? Is my brother and his girlfriend at the time, ended up being a wife. They came home, and they had their upstairs was like, there was a bedroom here, and then the kids' bedroom was over to the side. And then there was a big room, and as soon as you came up the stairs, big, huge room that they had turned into a playroom for the kids. And so there was a bunch of toys in there or whatever. Well, that night, my brother said that he woke up because he heard a bunch of rustling in the toys. And he thought that, his stepdaughter had woken up and was in the toys. He went out there. She wasn't there, and all the toys were everywhere. So it was, and I mean, pictures on the wall. I was babysitting there, and I had really weird feelings. Went upstairs to put her to bed. I come downstairs, all the pictures are crooked. And we're talking like 20 picture frames on the wall. All of them crooked.
Have that happen. I've heard people having that experience with pictures. I've had crazy ones. I've not had a picture experience yet. So
my brother had a picture fly off of a shelf into his arms, and it was a picture of his girlfriend, her ex-husband, and the two kids, the one that passed away too. No, my brother will tell you these stories himself. Freaked him the hell out. And he was like, "I'm done with this house." And they ended up moving into his condo and selling that house. And you know what's really funny? I've driven past that house recently, and it's been completely leveled. How much you want to bet is because it was haunted?
Yeah. It's they did that with another one that was on Paranormal caught on camera, but they leveled it because of the show, because of all the draw from the show. People were showing up to investigate, and they didn't want that. They didn't want the insurance liability, so they just leveled it, and that truly sucks. But Living Dead fam, guys, if you haven't subbed to their channel, guys, please give them a sub. If somebody could drop their link in the chat. I think he's got a rent. I think you got a link. You can drop the link yourself. I think you have a rent, brother.
No, they don't.
And there's also there's a bar not far from me too, where there's supposedly some woman, I think she was a patron or something, and long story short, she ended up passing when she left there, and her ghost is supposedly in there forever. My friend went there once before, and she said she experienced weird stuff. I can't remember what it was she experienced, but no, there is a crap load of haunted places around here. And I don't like them. Freaks me out. My friend's place that I told you about, every Halloween in fact, as soon as Halloween is over, he'll sit there and know the count of how many days until it's Halloween again. He starts the countdown.
Living Dead fam. They are made
that too.
Halloween enthusiasts. Like when it gets to be halfway to Halloween, like that's a thing. I didn't know that was a thing until their channel. Like people get that much into it. Now I like.
Oh yeah, and like when the spirit store, the flagship store opens, everybody gets excited about that too.
Yep. That's cool. Like they did a walkthrough and they just went through all the new stuff for Halloween. It's really cool though, because I actually like to see that stuff. I'd like to get.
I'll try to take you guys there to my friends for Halloween this year. He, like I said, he makes a big to do about it, and it's definitely haunted. He has a tent out in the back. It is an old Barnum and Bailey's. It's an actual Barnum and Bailey's tent that he bought, and he fixes up in the back. There's a lot of bands. He has really cool beer. He makes his own barbecue sauce that people love. Anyway, I was there. There's a ghost there. Definitely is a ghost. He has had paranormal teams come in there and measure things before in the past. But it's just really weird because walking out into the back of it, it's just all of a sudden, did I just see something? You know what I mean? I'm like, did you just see that? They're like, yeah, what was that? I'm like, I don't know, but that was something. And when you talk to him, he goes, yep, that's where everybody notices it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it is that much activity that just regular people, the bartenders say that all of a sudden they'll be sitting there at the bar and all of like the bar tools will just fly up in the air and fall on the ground out of nowhere. Just random stuff. And it happens pretty often.
That's unnerving. The being able to manipulate objects is unnerving because they can move shit. So if they can move stuff, can they come up and just like, boom, just punch you in the soul?
Well, I'm sure that they could probably force, like you could feel some type of a force, I would imagine, if they're that powerful.
I felt like little stuff like this, little pats, little pokes. I've never been scratched or pinched or bitten or I've been threatened. You guys have heard it. Bite them, scratch them, stab them. You deserve a beating. You've heard all the stuff that I don't get those anymore though. Actually, I don't get the threats no more, which is good. Since Nana made her presence known, energy completely different. She cleaned house, and I haven't had that, and I'm very grateful for that. But unlike some people's beliefs, we do go out of our way to protect ourselves. Like I'm not even investigating right now, but here I sit with red strings. I keep some type of red cloth in my pocket all the time, 24/7. Boom. There's
really? What is the significance of red? I don't even know.
I never heard of this until Lynn told me, and she said if you keep red cloth, it's got to be solid red, it's got to be cloth, and you keep it on your left side, and it keeps negativity from being able to attach to you.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. And some of the negative people we've come across, it's really paid out in spades for us. And
no, I think I need one of those every time I stream.
It's you know what? It's maybe not a bad idea because I've had people come through for YouTube people that I've never met in person. Some of them I've never seen with my own eyes, but we've communicated. Just our energies communicating in a chat is enough for them to make that connection. So it may be a good thing because these energies are transferred between all of us. It's crazy. And they could be on the other side of the world, but if they're in spirit form, then they're plugged into the energy that just exists everywhere. So they can be, like Lynn said, like if I say, Steve-O, say hello, and I say hello to me and Drazo, he could probably say hello simultaneously on two spirit boxes at two separate places at the same time.
We're going to try that.
We're going to try that.
See, I don't know if I would ever want to do a spirit box myself. I don't know if I want to know that much.
Come on, Jules, join us. Look, it's right.
No, I don't want that. Like I know I said this way back when, Johnny, you did the Halloween, you did a spooky story once somewhere else, and this one, I'm telling you, when you guys see something that happens from a ghost, you will be a believer, just like the monkeys. I'm a believer. Yes. I watched at my friend's house. We were all playing cards. Well, they were all playing cards at the table. I was paranoid that his mother was going to come home and get mad. It was after Thanksgiving. We were 19-year-olds, and his mom used to get mad all the time and yell. Anyway, so I am looking out the window, and there was curtains. They're pulled back, and then they had shears. And the shears, it was just like a bar, and the bar was resting in a little groove. And I'm watching, and I watched it go up, out, and fall to the ground right before my very eyes. And I'm like,
that's cool.
I mean, it's just the stomach, everything falls from my stomach. And then at that same time, our friend Ken that was sitting across from me, he's like, Joe, I hate your fucking house. And he gets up, and as he gets up, the curtain behind him, mind you, it was like 3 feet behind him, started to go up sideways, and then it went back down, and Ken left, and he went running out the house, and he never came back. And the reason being is because they were playing with the Ouija board in the basement a week or two before, and it made Ken pass out, and he was out cold for quite a while. So yeah, that's why he's like, fuck your house, Joe, I'm out. And he knew who the ghost was in his house. And Joe ended up buying the house from his mother and lived there for years. And he was friends with Siska. That was her name. And the weird part about it is Joe had a baby brother that died. Like, I don't know if the baby lived a month, or it was very little time. The people that used to own the house that they ended up moving to, are buried right next to their baby brother. Is that the weirdest thing ever? Wow. So the person that haunts their house, and that was complete coincidence. Nothing.
Yeah, but is there a coincidence? I mean,
I know.
But think about this. 2 years ago, I visited the Pioneer Cemetery. Randomly, my stepdad showed me the place. I walked around. I took a series of pictures, like 5 pictures. 3 out of those 5 pictures are the Totten headstones. You think that's just chance? Now I'm disconnected to the family. And I asked them, that's part of one of the questions I asked them. I said, was I maybe a Totten in another life? Is there a connection? I have a connection to the Tottens, don't I? And they lit it up. And then I said, is it a spiritual connection? And boom, they lit it up. So it's a spiritual thing that for some reason we've crossed paths multiple times because we've meant to cross it. It was meant to happen. Like Steve-O, I thought about him and that accident every day for almost 20 years.
Yep.
And now he's with me. Like that was meant to be. Like, I don't know why. There's reasons that these things, they line up. And little things just clicking, like the cosmic tumblers line up and things just click into place somehow. I don't know why. I'd like to know. There's got to be a reason. I don't know if we're allowed to know that. That's the thing. Do they know that? Who knows?
My kids are not.
John's been getting a lot of my wife's friend Heather, who had passed. She had a brain aneurysm earlier this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember that.
So I did a spirit box on Thursday night last week, and hoping to get her. I figured she's been going so much to Johnny, and we don't know if it's really her because Johnny hasn't asked.
I got to get specifics, but
he didn't get specifics with her, but we have a feeling it's her.
It's a Heather that keeps persistently coming through, right?
Yeah, I decided to turn on the spirit box. As I'm going through the spirit box, God, I hate this. I get emotional. I hear Stevie Boy in the distance. Only person who's ever called me Stevie Boy was my mom.
They get specific.
I love that for you.
And I was like, I thought I was hearing things. So I said, can you say that again? And I hear Stevie Boy a little louder.
Nice.
And I was like, I so did not expect that. I really didn't. I didn't hear Heather, but I heard my mom.
And you've wanted, and now that was the reason you got the box, bro. Don't forget. Yeah. That was the reason you bought that box, and you didn't even have to ask. She comes through for you, bro.
She came right through. 1, 2, 3. It was amazing. I didn't have to ask for her. Nothing.
Where did you do the box in your house?
In the living room.
In the living room.
Nice.
And was it like was it clear, or like one of those ones you just kind of hear like a whisper underneath the white noise?
It was a whisper under the white noise.
Those are my favorite. Because those really sound
audible. But
yes,
sometimes
those are my favorite ones.
Had I recorded it, I think I would have gotten it.
Oh yeah, I love that. That's really cool.
Now I like those because if it's loud, obvious voice, people are going to be like, it's radio. The skeptics are going to shoot it down right away. Nobody comes on to the radio and whispers. Okay. They do the opposite of that. They're supposed to speak loud and clearly and have a radio voice.
And something very specific like that, like a nickname that she called him.
And then to repeat it, and to have it repeated and to come through again by coincidence, that just doesn't happen. The statistical chance of that happening is so ridiculously astronomical. It's not going to happen. People just have to accept it is what it is. They come through and they take whatever opportunity. She's probably waiting the whole time, but
probably.
I don't think they don't have the sense of time like we do. I don't think. But
well, remember Lynn was saying that that's just like they're busy. Remember when she was saying that like right. You know what I mean? Like there's things that they're doing. You know what I mean? So it just took her a minute.
It's like I asked about my godfather, who I haven't heard from in, maybe a year or so, and now all of a sudden he's no longer around, and she said that he's working on something.
I know like that I've like always believed in like spirits and the thought of them coming through or showing themselves. Like since I was a young girl, we grew up pretty religious. We grew up, we were like Southern Baptist, and my grandparents. So every Sunday we were like dressed to the nines in church. My grandfather was a deacon in the church. And my grandmother we would say our prayers like on hands and knees at night, So for a very long time, actually, I believe that you could only talk to God by like actually like kneeling and praying. And then someone said later, like you could speak to him, anywhere, anyhow, whatever. But anyways, I used to, when my grandfather died when I was 11, and him and my grandmother pretty much raised me. And I remember praying that like to him, like having a feeling that he wanted to like show himself to me, and praying that he didn't. Kind of like how Juelz said, like she didn't want to see anything earlier, or have anybody come to her, that is. So for a long time, I always included that in my prayers, as silly as it may sound, but I was 11 years old. I was
show
frightened.
Yourself, please.
Yes. Like I would say, please don't come show yourself. Like I'm just not ready for that. I just had this feeling inside me that he wanted to like let me know he was okay.
Well, what age was Milton? The floating
around
head?
The same time. I
really?
feel like that's when I really started feeling like energies, and I don't know if that's because there was like a lot of death in a very short amount of time.
There was
at a very young age.
And your
for me,
family,
and I was trying to understand
a little cluster, a little pocket of a bunch of loss, and what? That sucks. Though. Yeah, I can understand. But why? Why did you feel like that? And why do you feel like that, Juelz? Like, wouldn't you want? See, I can tell you right now that if you lost me, or if I lost you, and obviously eventually it's going to happen because that's life, I would welcome a message or some type of connection or any type of interaction. I would strongly desire that. You wouldn't? Like, why does that frighten you?
Well, my thing is, it doesn't frighten me. My thing is I don't want anybody from the internet conjuring me after I die. You know what I mean? I mean, when it comes to anybody else, maybe, but I don't want people on the internet looking for me after I die and trying to conjure me up.
Well, I don't think they can just like hook you and reel you in. Like,
right.
It's you could choose, but that's the thing. Like,
oh no, but when somebody that passed, I want to have signs for them, but I don't necessarily. They have to do it subtly because it'll scare me. Like my friend, one of my friend that passed away in 2000. I've been waiting for her to come to me like my friend Paul did, and it just hasn't happened. And it's just weird because she has visited others. I'm still very, very close with all of her family, and she has visited others, but never me. It's just the weirdest thing. I guess it's just not my time yet, but I still have hopes that she will eventually.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like maybe I think that their sense of time versus ours is much different. They don't have the human body clock, but they do remember. There's got to be some sense of time, because for them to remember to do things, And then when I go and I investigate, and then Steve-O's saying one at a time, speak clearly, he remembers that. So there's got to be some type of time.
Okay, one of my favorite movies ever, What Dreams May Come. Have you ever seen that? Robin Williams and Annabella, whatever. I forget what her last name is. The girl from Ann Ross. That movie was so incredible to me. And that movie is how I picture, I don't know, that's what death seems to be. That seems like a really good idea of it. What it is for people who haven't seen it, I believe he's a doctor, and him and his wife end up losing their kids and their housekeeper. The kids were killed in a car accident. Because she went to pick up the kids instead of them. Well, then his wife never, ever, ever came to terms with it. She always blamed herself that the kids passed because she wasn't there driving them. You know what I mean? And so she was in a very dark place, and she ended up taking her own life. And actually, no, I'm sorry, rewind. Robin Williams dies. He dies. He's trying to help somebody on the side of the road. He dies. And then his wife is going through this horrible thing because everybody's gone. And he tries to reach out to her. And then he tries to reach out to her through her painting. And basically when he passed, that was the best thing. And that's why I kind of hope it's like the afterlife. When he passed, it's like everybody's afterlife is different. It's like everybody paints it to their own thing. Like his afterlife was living in his wife's paintings, because his wife was an artist. And like as soon as he passed away and he woke up in this painting, his dog Maggie that had passed away showed up, and he's like, Maggie, and he was all happy. And I don't know, it's just a really great movie. But then it shows what happens when his wife took her own life and where the people who commit S go, and it's a different place. And he ends up going to find her, even though they told him no, because you might not come back. So at the very end of the movie, they decide to be reincarnated. And she's just like, yeah, but she goes, well, how will we ever find any? He's just like, I went to hell and find you. He goes, you think I'm not going to find you in Jersey? It's just it is the best movie ever. I freaking love that movie. And I really,
we'll watch it after the live.
No, it's an older movie. It's like from the beginning of 2000 or whatever, but it's pretty moving, especially like his afterlife was in a painting. And then he ends up running into his kids there too. But his kids are different people because they're what they want to be. So basically it's like the afterlife is whatever we want it to be. Like we make our own. And
like our own hell too. You know,
it's really magical at one point of it, even though it's like it gets really dark. There's parts of that movie that are dark as fuck, but some parts really are magical, and it's just like, that's really cool. So I kind of feel like that, like the afterlife is going to be like each one of ours is what we want it to be. It's what we paint it to be. And he lived in her painting, and it was really cool when he ran. You see him like the paint like going from his feet. And then when he's hugging his dog, his Dalmatian, he's getting paint all over the dog. And then he learns how he can fly and do all these fun things. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a couple of like afterlife movies that are kind of I think are accurate. One is Lovely Bones with
that's a good one.
Great movie. Mark Wahlberg, fucking tremendous job in that movie. What a great actor he is too, by the way.
That was a good one. That was really good one.
And then the other one is a comedy, and it's Ghost Town, and it's the British actor. He's a dentist. He goes in for a colonoscopy. He dies briefly, and then he can see all these spirits, and they can interact and stuff. So they're all following him around. And it kind of feels like that.
Oh my God, that's from like the 90s?
Like 2008, I think. It's an
was it? Okay, wait. Oh, maybe I'm thinking wrong. I don't know, but I think I remember that because you said it was kind of funny.
Yes, yeah, it's a comedy.
I kind of remember that. You know what other movie I loved? The Others. With Nicole Kidman.
Others. That's...
Oh my gosh, that was another really good one.
I probably have seen it. If I watch it,
it was where like her husband's off in the war and she has 2 kids that are allergic to light. And that's why they have to shut everything in the house, because if any light touches the kids, it will burn their skin and stuff. Okay, I'm not even going to tell you about it because that's a good one and you should watch that one.
I want to check that one.
That is that.
See,
see, look at Living Dead Fam says The Others is really good. That it's a great one. It is super good. It is one of the movies that like I saw it in the movie theater, and you know, usually scary movies, you kind of get an idea of what's going to happen at the end. Not that one. That one completely threw me for a loop, and I'm like, what? So, and I love those kinds. So,
what was the other one? What was the
See,
one?
look, Susie Q loved that one too. This is kind of fun. We're all suggesting good movies for the upcoming Halloween season.
The one we were going to look. What were the one I said we were going to watch right after this? What the hell was the title of that?
What Dreams May Come?
Yes.
What Dreams May Come?
Yes.
You have any?
No, it's really beautiful.
I want to decorate my house for Halloween.
I'm gonna do. You know what? I'm gonna do something this year. You know, Living Dead fams got me inspired this year. You know, they do.
I will
they're
be out
really,
of town for a business trip.
Well, I guess
During
I'm on my own this time, and it'll be fun.
Come to Long Island, bro.
I'm gonna go look at Christmas lights like I did, or not Christmas, Halloween lights like I did last year, like all the Halloween displays. I'll do
That's
that.
when I first start decorating like big time for the season is like Halloween, and then I go into like Thanksgiving and Christmas. I mean, I decorate for pretty much all.
Oh my gosh, Susie Q, that's a good one too. Skeleton Key. That was super good. That
and
was
I like White Noise is another one that I really like with
what was that?
Michael Keaton. You know, with that's
yeah.
It's kind of like the Spirit Box, but they use the TV, which I guess.
Oh, okay. I remember that.
Probably do that too. Yeah, but that one actually kind of gets creepy and a little.
But he gets obsessed with
it gets
that.
unnerving.
I could totally see you being that way.
Well, if I lost a family member, I could see getting obsessed with communicating. I mean, that's. How do you think that the Spirit Box and all these tools came to be? It came because of Gary Galka and the tragic loss of his daughter, and that he makes all these magical devices now that make it possible to communicate with the other side. And that's because of, so Melissa has made it possible for all of us and millions of people to communicate with their relatives now, which is really cool. So that's true meaning in somebody's life.
The Frighteners. Oh my gosh, that was good too.
That's kind of a comedy though, right? That's a comedy a little bit.
I don't know if it's actual comedy.
That's the one with the ghost, right? Let me look that one up.
Frailty is another one I love.
I think it's something completely different.
I've got the joy down in my heart as they're going to the rose garden. Remember, Promise to Bury Me in the Rose Garden. That was a creepy movie. You know what's really funny is I don't know. I'm trying to think the last time I've seen like a recent, like really good scary movie. I don't know if I have.
I feel like I haven't. We're always looking when we want to do like a thriller. We always just look at the older stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple on Netflix that aren't half bad. What's the one they call him, the Canker Man? What is that the name of it? What's that one? What's that called?
That might be.
Is that the name of it? And then there's another one where the kid, when he falls asleep, they start seeing the hallucinations and stuff. I got to think of the name. There's a couple of good Netflix ones, guys. I'll post them. My daughters,
because 'tis the season.
Turn me on to them. Yeah.
Yeah, because the spooky stuff is coming up everywhere. The Dollar Tree is bringing out all the spooky stuff. You guys know I'm a Dollar Tree kind of girl.
We should post, every day during October. We should post like a movie, a good paranormal or horror movie, for that day, so everybody can, watch it if you haven't. Not post it, but show the information on it. Because I'm a huge 80s horror guy. I love it. I can watch them over and over and over and over, like Return of the Living Dead 1 and 2. The 80s one is so good. I told you that was my brother's friend, was the first punk rocker that was killed. I used to play softball with him. Yeah, that's the
Oh,
best
you
one.
did? Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned that. Yeah, because I had it
I've
on the
seen
other
that
day.
a
She
billion
plays the
and one
music
times.
on when she gets
Yeah,
up.
I love that. And you guys, I hate to give this away, but I just want to let you guys know that I have never gotten a copyright
Oh.
from that using that music. So anybody ever wants to use that background music, go find it because I've never gotten a copyright from it, never once. So, and because I know what's bad and what's good, and I've always wondered. I'm like, damn, because I play that pretty often. I use that when I go feed the cats, and I've never gotten it, and it's a fun background music.
Yeah, it's a pretty neat one. Poltergeist. Now I love Poltergeist. 1, 2, and 3's okay too, but they redid Poltergeist. Sam Rockwell. Now, if you watch the remake of Poltergeist and you have not seen it, do not think of the first Poltergeist. Watch it as if it's a brand new movie. You've never seen the first one. Do not compare it. And if you do it like that, then it's halfway decent. It's a pretty good movie, but
Be
it's
careful,
not.
guys. You're going to send me into the vortex for Carol Ann.
What a shame with her. You know, there's like a little bit of a curse with that movie too. You know.
Oh, I
it's
know.
Crazy.
Ooh, that'd be a fun thing to talk about too sometime, like Hollywood curses, because there is several. That's not the only one out there.
I think.
I wanted to share that house I went to on Sunday when I worked last week.
Do you have a picture? Do you have
I
a picture?
do.
I'd like to see that.
All right, you
Like
ready?
Brandon Lee, the Crow. Oh my goodness, I jumbled the both together. I was just watching some YouTube video where it was showing all different people that were that died on scene, and it's just or died that were in movies, and it's just so weird that him and his dad. So it just seems like that's like a family curse or something.
Yeah, that's I always thought that was a little odd, you know, like it was like destiny, you know. Fate.
Yeah, see, look at Star says there absolutely was a curse involved with the making of Poltergeist.
Ooh.
Can you guys see it?
Yeah, what is that?
See, you can see that those rounded the rounded ceilings with the crown, the old crown molding. You can tell the plaster walls and everything. I love that.
Okay. But what is this?
So this is a house I went to on Sunday last week, and this house was built in 1910, and apparently there's a lot of history. The people who own the house, the man who had passed, was a medical doctor, I believe, a dentist. So the first floor was his office area, and the second floor was the office area, the medical area, which is kind of weird. I don't know why they would have the medical area upstairs, but it's no longer like that. So anyway, so I went to this house to do work to turn on their service. The service was off of about 4 years. So I first went to the basement. I felt something, but I just couldn't put my finger on it, and I just continued to do what I had to do. So I get the second floor meter turned on, verified power, went up to the second floor, and hold on. So this is the first floor. So this right here is the hallway I went into. Do you see it?
No hallway.
Oh wait, hold on.
There, okay, yeah, with the area rug.
So that one there. So if you look here, this is the entry door, and I walked in, and the basement is down that hallway. And
you said this house was abandoned? You're turning the service back on?
No, it wasn't abandoned. It was somebody living on the first floor. The owner who owns the house now, his cousin lives on the first floor. But he was trying to get the electric turned on for the second floor and the third floor.
Oh, okay.
So after I get the second floor service turned on, I went up. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. So remember when I talked about this, about the beds looking like there was bodies underneath?
Yeah.
Yes. What the heck?
Yeah, dude. That's one of the bedrooms. Look at the sheets.
That's like that. I mean, that would creep me out just walking.
Blue velvets.
Yeah. So
nice
it
blanket.
creeped me out. Hey, Mama P. It creeped me out. So anyway, so I went around, I started flipping switches and stuff like that. and I went into, was it this? No, it wasn't this room. Let me see. Hold on. It was this one. Hold on. I gotta switch it. Okay. So this room, in one of the closets in this room, I forget which side the closet was on, I found a circuit breaker panel. But it wasn't circuit breakers like switches. It was the screw-in fuses. And they were all out. So I tested the fuses, and the panel was getting power. But it's not my job to do that. Anyway, so now I'm on the second floor, and now I'm starting to feel the energy a little bit more. As I was going through the rooms, it felt like if someone was watching over my shoulder. And when I turned around, there was nobody there. So I said, okay. I ignored it. Now I went back downstairs, and I worked on the third floor. After getting the third floor turned on, I think this is, yeah, this is one of the rooms on the third floor. Yeah, this is it. Hold on. This is one of the rooms on the third floor. So now I'm going through all the rooms. I'm hitting light switches. Nothing. So now I figured out that fuse panel not only controlled the second floor, but also the third floor. But now here's where the energy got worse. It got more, not, I don't want to say worse, it got more intense. I walked into the kitchen, and that's where the energy started stronger. And then
It's got an old fridge.
off of this kitchen, there was another bedroom. Here it is. Hold on.
Are those old? Is that stove in the kitchen? Is that an old stove and a really
it was a pilot stove.
Yeah, that's like
gas
that'll
meter,
work, man. Time
the
warp.
gas meter was turned off and removed from the property. This room, when I got into this room,
look at the ceiling, man. Look at the way
it's like a cape. It's almost like a cape ceiling. I got into that room, and the energy in that room was so intense. I was like, holy shit. You know, and still felt like I had somebody behind me looking over my shoulder. It was nuts. Okay.
That house is just the
What's up,
layout
Mike?
alone.
Hey, Code.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, brother?
What's up, brother?
This is the bathroom on the third floor.
beautiful place, though. I could put up with the paranormal
It's such
for
a
that.
time warp.
It is.
Yeah, and it's still with the pictures that you see here is just a cleaned up picture. Okay, it looks a lot older now because I guess they haven't cleaned the place because it's on the market and they're selling it, and they haven't really done anything to it. So there's a lot of dust around and stuff like that. So, but these pictures are really clean compared to what it was like when I went there.
And that probably, has a little more to do with the feel too. It probably makes it that much worse, right? That much more intense.
Yeah, but it was the energy was so intense. It felt like there was somebody looking over my shoulder, and I was like, damn, I was like, this would
ever
be
thought about saying anything?
What was that?
Did you speak out loud? Did you ever think about?
I did. When I felt the energy, I let them know that I was no threat. That I was from the utility company. I let them know I was there to turn on the electric in the house.
That's a smart thing.
And then there was a bench that was in that room next to the kitchen, and it kind of like moved as if somebody sat down on it.
Really?
Yeah, it kind of like shifted a little bit. Like, when someone sits on a cushioned chair and you see the cushion move, it looked like somebody waited on top of the cushion of the chair. It was sick. And I was like, yeah, there's definitely someone here, and I got my hair was standing up on my arms and on the back of my neck. I was like,
got a natural K2 built right into your arm, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I was like, dude. I was like, all right. I was like, all right. I says, I don't know if I should leave like now or, like kind of just like ease my way out as if it didn't bother me too much. So I just kind of like slowly walked out and I said, okay, I'm leaving now. So you can go back to what you're doing. And I went back down the stairs and went to the customer and I was like, you got some cool activity in here. And he's like, oh yeah?
Really?
Yeah. But he didn't catch on to what I was saying.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. He didn't catch on.
People in the chat said it reminds them of like the Amityville horror, like the shape of the
Yes.
the,
Yeah.
Yes.
and things.
Yes. Because the Amityville Horror House is 3 floors. You have your main floor, your second floor, and then the third floor was like a cape house. Like, let's say you bought a single story house and it was a cape. That's what it would look like if it had the second floor bedrooms. It would look like a cape ceiling.
Yeah. They changed the windows though in that house though.
Yes,
It
they
looked
did.
really creepy.
Yeah, I just saw that
creepy.
recently. They just redid it, and it doesn't look like Eyes of the House anymore.
No.
Where's this house at?
The Amityville Horror House.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Long Island. You know, Tony.
Yeah, I know that blue velvet, the bedding, John and
You know what?
Garrett and I, we all love it.
You know what? Hold on. I'll share it again. Hold on.
Yeah, you know, I
It
have
was
to.
questionable.
What the heck's? What the questions?
Questionable.
What's underneath the blanket?
It's a
there?
very nice shade.
Do we want to know? Could be dead bodies under there. Who knows?
Johnny,
man.
Oh my gosh, I got another one for you, Johnny Mac. You know where else you can go?
bring it up, Johnny?
Here? You know where else you can come?
Where's
To
that?
the property where Gacy's house used to be.
There you go.
That would be a good one too. Yeah.
That's not that far from me. That's about a half hour from me or so.
Look at that picture. It's just,
Right?
Yeah,
Doesn't
man.
it look like feet?
People, man, a couple of people there, you know, doing some weird stuff, some funky stuff. You know, was there any moving up and down on those blankets? Was no movement?
No. It was,
I really like that
just
color, though.
still, but it looked odd. I was like, I walked in the
that's
room.
abnormal, bro.
It
That's-
startled me. I walked
Yeah.
in the room, went through the threshold of the door, and I looked and I kind of like jerked back and I was like, what the fuck?
it's just odd.
That's supposed. I mean, anybody that would weird anybody out, man. Like, who
Right.
does that? Like,
It looks like feet holding the bottom up. Oh, I know. That's what it definitely looks like.
Right
feet.
here.
Can we make it bigger?
Absolutely.
yeah, I can't. No.
No.
Sorry, we can't make it bigger, guys.
Oh, it's so
Can
weird.
we make it bigger?
I don't know.
A little bit bigger.
You could go full screen, yeah.
Yeah, that's as big as it'll get, I'm sure.
That's big. Okay, now which one were we on? Here we go.
Johnny,
What up?
I'm not going to show it, because I don't want to do that on your show. But this is the thing I was telling you about, man. The non-lethal self-defense thing. The burner. Did you ever see the commercial for this?
No.
It's like a paintball gun, but it comes in like a pistol. So anybody can have it. You know what I mean? Felons, anybody could have it.
And it fires
It's
Rubber
like
bullets?
$500, man. But let me tell
pepper
you something.
spray, right? Pepper spray
Yeah.
pellet. Okay.
Bro, let me tell you something. They hurt them things, man. My buddy, we were messing around and he let me hit one in his leg and he had a pair of sweatpants on and he's a pretty tough dude, but left a big welt, man. And that was a hollow one, like it's just a hollow plastic one. Like the ping pong balls, it's like that, but small ones. But they're good for like, say if somebody can't own a firearm or say like a woman or something, or somebody doesn't really necessarily want to hurt somebody, it'll definitely make somebody think twice about, you know what I mean? But
Ladies, here's a tip for the ladies. Don't get mace. Don't get the keychain mace bullshit. The little bitty things. Heaven forbid there's a breeze You know, you got to be like literally within 3 feet of somebody, and if the wind's blowing, you know, you're lucky if you can hit something from 3 feet away. You get you one of these. You just pull the little clip off, and you can shoot this literally 30 feet and drench somebody. And this is bear spray. And this is just mace, and it's.
When I see that, I think about Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
check it out.
this is not lethal, and it works.
Is that shoe polish?
No, they're pellets.
Is that them? That's them.
These
What
are
kind of, the pepper pellets.
no. These are BB pellets.
Oh, okay.
That's funny. She said carry a paintball gun. Yeah, I know, right? But hey, the funny thing is, you know,
Foam, yeah.
they're really a commodity, man. A lot of guys are because they make one with a 20-round clip. So, you know, guys are carrying them, but it's CO2, man. It's like a BB gun, but you know, it's whatever.
So you got any paranormal creepy stories, bro? That you know,
Bro, I told you, man. My mom, look, it's storming here right now. I couldn't get on. I tried to get on. So I'm not even joking. I went in my mom's room and I thought I heard the water running. The water wasn't running. I come back out. I shut the door. Now I go downstairs. Get my dad situated, and I hear it again. I hear the way she used to walk at night. And it's like the whole, like, I heard the door in the bathroom. I can hear it all the time, man. I'm telling you, she's got to be in this house. I know it. Like, it's just so surreal, man. Some of the noises there's no way that they're not, you know, it's like right on point, you know? So, I don't know. Yeah, but I'm trying to think.
Common, bro. We talked about that, the after death communication, and, you know, they will make their presence known, you know, like like I said, like I don't know if you heard, like last night we did the spirit box session, and Chris came through for Ant, and it actually said message for Ant. You know, I told everybody, like, that's what we call him, Ant. You know, so it's like that's how I know that is the message is for him. And then
you got me believing, bro. You know, I was skeptical, bro.
Hey, me too, bro. Me too.
But if you want to know crazy, Johnny, this might be something that be, you know, I'm sure you people heard of this, but do you remember years ago, maybe you guys didn't do that, but in Philly, there used to be this thing where people would always dare each other. So they would dare you to go in the bathroom, shut the lights out, look in the mirror, and say, you know, the Blessed Mother, like say, Mother Mary, Mother Mary, Mother Mary. And you would hear these stories about people coming out with their eyes scratched. I seen a dude come out one time. He went in, his face was bright red. Now, I don't know if that was a coincidence, but what do you think about that? Did you ever hear that or not?
Where did she go?
The Bloody Mary thing. I mean, I personally
Bloody Mary, there it is.
I was always creeped out to do it, you know, to be honest. Like
I didn't do it. You're crazy. No, I wasn't doing it.
But
if I had Drazo's hair, I would do it.
You'd be invincible, you know.
Drazo, if I had your hair, I'd be like this. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary.
Use that as a weapon, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it though. Now I wouldn't do it because seeing the reflections, like with Raymond outside the back door, I know that stuff can show up in the mirror, you know, like it's like Juelz was talking about. And that's the last thing I want to worry about when I'm shaving is, you know, somebody popping up behind me in the mirror, you know, and like now they're hearing this shit. I'm talking about it and they're going to have fun with me now. Thank you very much. You know, I'm just kidding. That's all right. If they do it, they do it. It's I don't mind it. I'm pretty thick skinned. What she's not, but I am.
I'm leaving.
So do it to me. Yeah, I mean, guys, you've seen the videos. Something happens, she runs, and I'm like, I turn around and like she's gone. Like
at least she goes with you. Some people won't even do that. You know what I mean?
No, I mean she's gotten a little more brave. I think you're handling it. You're brave. You're braver.
I think it's great the way you guys do it, man. Together, keep it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that we have
Yeah, it's called La Burana or something. Yeah, did you ever hear that? The screaming, crying woman? It's called whatever she said, La Burana or something like that. It's crazy.
Yes. Yeah. She leaves me in the dust. Like, I'm like, huh? I'm like, don't leave me this time. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, the last time you took off. It's like, I don't know. It's okay. I'd rather them get me first, but at least give me a warning.
I give you warnings.
yeah. Like, warnings. But make sure I hear the warning. You may say, I'm running. I'm out of here. I'm like, huh?
Phone for my mother should be in.
Distracted.
Yeah, but at least you guys get to do this together, man.
We have fun, man. We really do. Like last night, we've only had really good luck with the flashlight at the Thomas house. Hey, what's up, OG? And we're gonna be going back to the Thomas house sometime in the near future. But other than that, we haven't had any flashlight luck. So last night I got set up and we weren't even recording, and he starts turning the flashlight on. So I'm like, oh man, hit the record. So and here I think it wasn't gonna happen again, but it did. It did, and it went on. It was great, bro. Like it's every time we go and we go over the evidence, I'm blown away.
Juelz is back.
Thank you, Tina.
Yeah, thank you, Tina. She is. I'm very lucky. And she keeps me in line. Believe me, guys. I was a pain in the ass, to say the least. I'm glad she stuck around, really. But she did, and now I behaved. I've calmed down.
Well, she knows you can't do it without her, bro. So
that's true. She makes me, I make her, and that's how we.
I'm just fucking around.
No, I know, bro. I know. She does. She keeps me in line.
She's good people. You're a good dude too. Look at Andy said, "Fuck that." He's crazy.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to do Philly sometime soon. I know. Last time my cover was blown going to Philly, and there was some people driving around waiting to cause an issue, but that won't happen the next time. We'll get out there and we'll really get to some really cool spots, historical Philly, and then I'm gonna get to Chicago, because that's one thing I like to do. We love to travel, and her being
Chicago's not far from you guys. It's like what, 5 hours, I think.
Yeah, not far. Yep. So it's like it's an easy drive. I had no idea that Les's pawn shop was only 4 hours from me, or I would have went to freaking the hardcore pawn place a long time ago. Like that's.
We do have a lot of travel plans. Like
I've been there twice in the last month.
So
Yeah, so we're gonna be all over the place, but yeah, I'll be out there. So if we go to Chicago, then you have to go on.
Hey, maybe I can even drag Clark with us.
Yeah, but that'd be cool.
Shit, you go to Chicago, I might even meet you out there, brother.
No, there's so many cool. Like I was telling him, there's like where the Valentine's massacre happened. I mean, and that kind of a little crossover from the mob and then the paranormal all together. Wouldn't that be kind of neat?
I'm like really into true crime also. So I've been telling him I wanted to like mix some true crime with the paranormal stuff.
And I bet you over where Gacy's victims were. There's another house there. I used to work over there in that area, and I drove by there once at lunch. And it's just another house, but I imagine like, I don't know, just even the surroundings around it to see if you get anything, I don't know why anybody would ever want to rebuild a house on that property though. That's like,
I mean,
I know, right?
Not everybody believes in it. Not everybody believes in the paranormal. I mean, they learn the hard way, but
Yeah, but it's just creepy to know. Like, well, the hotel, or not the hotel, the apartment building where Dahmer was, they leveled that. That's gone.
That's a guaranteed. Whoever's gonna own that's gonna go bankrupt, then I mean that's guaranteed. I mean, nobody's going to want to live there. I mean, I could understand. There may be a few sickos that might get a kick out of living there, but I mean, who wants to actually really live there and stay there? Not too many people. But yeah, like that place.
One. Jeffrey Dahmer.
There's another one. Go ahead, sorry.
Jeffrey Dahmer doing that. I still remember when that happened because, well, Gacy was when I was really young. Like I remember watching it on TV when they were taking all the bodies out. And I was still grade school. It kind of freaked me out. But Dahmer, I was an adult. I think I was like 20 years old. And that shit was crazy. I remember listening to it like, oh my gosh, the people are just absolutely crazy. And when you thought you've heard everything, like, can you imagine your neighbor was eating people and you didn't know it? That's a whole ass apartment building.
I know that's nuts. It's crazy.
Well, what about Herb Baumeister? You guys ever heard of the Fox Hollow Farm haunting? So this guy, Herb Baumeister, married, kids, lived in his
Herb's a good dude.
Well, he buried about like 20-something victims in his backyard. I mean, he was doing similar shit to Dahmer. He was like getting like younger gay men back to his home, and he had like a pool in his basement and all that, and he was like doing like this erotic asphyxiation. That's a hard word to pronounce for me. But like he was like strangling these guys, and then he would drag them right out the back door and bury them in the backyard. And not very good job of burying them either, because for like years after the people, after he got busted, bones were like popping up all over the place, like all over the property. Yeah. And that one, like, but people bought that place at like a extremely discounted rate, but it's like insanely haunted. And that's another serial killer that, but that's a beautiful mansion on a huge, I don't know. I would have a hard time not living there if I could get that at a nice price too. So I mean, I may have to put up with the haunting. Could you do that?
Did you see what Selena wrote? That's a reason for you to go out to the West Coast. It's quite a bit up. She's been to the Queen Mary. It's a haunted boat. How cool would that be?
I heard about that. Yeah.
A little girl in the basement of that screams. Like I saw a thing about the guy's like, he's like, I'm your uncle. She's like, no, you're not. She's like, you can call me your uncle. She's like, no. Basically the little girl knew not to talk to strangers, but there's a little ghost of a girl I saw it on Paranormal Caught on Camera. But our son was born in San Jose. We actually used to live right around the corner from the Winchester house, like 5-minute walking distance from there. So yeah, I actually like the West Coast. I'd like to go out there in the near future and visit out there too. It's
just so expensive.
It is.
Like it's crazy.
It
was insanely expensive in the 90s when we were there. I can only imagine what it's like.
Well, when we talk later on tonight or tomorrow,
we'll make it out there. Plan on.
There's a lot of stuff here in Philly, dude, that I didn't realize. Not even just Gettysburg. There's a lot of little ducky spots that are like, very big with paranormal, but a lot of stuff people don't even know about. I was reading about it.
Yeah.
There's so many like really cool places in the chat that people have really good suggestions.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at that. That's what I'm looking at right now. Everything's popping up. Virginia City is some great ghost hunting. Wow. Well, Wisconsin has some really,
We'll start doing.
If you do Chicago and then Wisconsin, you could stop here and then you go up there. You go to Dahmer's victims, and then there's a decent amount of. I think Ed Gein was even in. Wasn't he in Wisconsin too? Go find a bunch of serial killers and go bring your little boxes around their properties and see what you get. I did one. Cincinnati. There was the Cincinnati Strangler in the late 60s, kind of like the Boston Strangler. But yeah, so I looked up some of his victims, and right after I looked that up, I got an EVP on the box, and it said in the elevator. So one of his victims was in one of these apartment buildings down there in an elevator. He murdered somebody, strangled him in an elevator. So I thought, hey, maybe I'll go down to that location and run the box at
and that location, see what I get. And that would be neat, you know, because that would be the thumbnail, the headlines and the picture of the dude and all that. So yeah, that's cool. She likes the true crime. So imagine to be able to like shed light on some cold cases. That would be truly neat too.
Mm-hmm. Little crossover. Has anybody, the Hotel Pennsylvania in New York, it's no longer there. But that place was haunted. I went there for cat camp. It was like
Cat
a cat,
camp,
little
that's
cat.
awesome.
Yeah, it was called cat camp.
That's
Jackson
fucking
Galaxy
cool,
cat
man.
camp.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, it's a huge old hotel. First of all, the doors to the bedrooms, the doors to the room almost look like caskets to me. But anyway, that place, when I was there, I was only there for a weekend for a cat camp. So I was up and down the elevator and back and forth a lot. So I really didn't get a chance to whatever. But oh my goodness, the feelings, the different feelings that I got in there, in the elevator, waiting for the elevator, in the hallways, just different. Definitely not where the little expo area was. That was the only place I didn't get the weird watching me. So afterwards I looked it up, and sure enough, there's a bunch of ghost people that used to go to the Hotel Pennsylvania, and there was a lot of activity. But you can, like, some places you go to and you can just feel it. It's just weird.
Yeah. Yep.
Johnny, that's crazy she said that, because what I wanted to talk about too was that movie Impuritus. Remember I was telling you about the insane asylum in Philadelphia? But we need to go there, bro, and try to get in there. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, that's Penhurst, right? That's where they did that, I thought.
Yeah, I think so. But
I've heard of it.
The Hotel Pennsylvania, I've heard about it. I don't know a lot about it, but that must be
It's in New York. It was in New York. It's gone now. They leveled it. It was right across it was right across the street from what is the Madison Square Garden?
Oh,
right
wow.
across the street from there. But it was huge, and it was just weird. It's weird to say this, but it gave me a Titanic feel. Like the whole like era of the Titanic, that's how the hotel reminded me of, like the hallways and some of this
Victorian
stuff.
era.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I love that. I love that era of stuff. That's kind of like similar to the time.
I was gonna say
Yeah, it's
Victorian, maybe, I guess.
like that. So
Yeah.
you already kind of feel like
It's not updated. Like it was built in 1890, and it's like from the 30s. They never updated anything, and you walk in, it's like warping back in time, and you can
That
feel
is so
it.
cool.
It's the
what
energy.
I even like better is, so we've been up there several times, and there is one route that our GPS takes us, and it's like a
Coming
town
from Gatlinburg, because we were coming across.
that is like no longer exists. Like all these abandoned homes and gas stations and banks and like gone.
Just like they
Windows
just left,
busted
like
and
Walking
curtains
Dead, like
flying
Walking
through.
Dead abandoned.
It's like everybody just picked up and left.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's
What's haunted in Fond du Lac, Kathy? I don't remember anything really haunted when I lived, because I didn't live far from Fond du Lac. I used to go shopping in Fond du Lac.
It's safe to say that probably there's hauntings pretty much everywhere. You know, like people just, I don't know if they just don't pick up on it. Some people are actually obviously more sensitive, but you know, like it could be a newer place, like you said. You never know where the ghosts are at.
Oh, and you know what? A friend of mine lived in an area in Illinois. The same friend that took his own life. His house growing up was haunted because it was on a burial ground. And I mean, of course, there were no bodies down there or anything like that anymore and stuff. Things were moved, things were relocated, but it's still the energy.
Yeah, it's sacred land. You're not supposed to be, building and doing things on. And that's where my mother's neighborhood is. They were adding a house or two in this cul-de-sac area, and this was maybe 1,000 yards from where they live, and they were moving some earth around, and they all kinds of like Native American pottery, artifacts were just being turned over in the soil. So obviously there was some burial ground there. And we've always had paranormal activity there. and the neighbor's house that they just moved out to. In fact, I told the story where the guy he grew up in this house and he felt something watching him, like Draza was talking about, like eyes on, like somebody like staring at the back of your head, burning holes through the head, the back of your head with their eyes.
Well, it's almost as if there's an actual being behind you. You know what I mean? Like you just walked in there with a person.
So he turned around and there was a little, what he described was a little boy from like the 1800s, suspenders, long, scraggly hair, dirty, beaten up suspenders. He clearly was from that era, and kind of could see through him a little bit.
Show off, Drazzo.
He said it was falling asleep on
Just had a shower about an hour.
He's showing off over there. He's showing off.
It's drying up, so I had a.
I remember an
Lynn's
unsolved
here.
mystery
Hey, Lynn.
like that, like you were just describing.
What's that?
An unsolved mysteries of a little boy, like ghost apparition from like a farm or something.
That's the one that scared you,
yeah,
right?
when I was young. Yeah.
That's when we were younger, that's the only fix that we could get of paranormal was unsolved mysteries. And they did once in a while was a little portion on paranormal, or they would do something on aliens. Yeah. And I always craved the end because it was towards the end, and that's all I cared about. Yeah. And the music always creeped me out when I was a kid from Unsolved Mysteries. Our kids too.
What was that guy's name? The host, remember Unsolved Mysteries?
Forensic Files.
Forensic Files. Whatever.
I sent
music.
that.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I sent that to my son. The music
Completely
for
different, but when you were talking about like themes and stuff, did anybody remember Night Gallery and how creepy that used to be at the beginning? You might be too young for that. I think. Oh my gosh!
Did that used to go late at night?
Yeah, and
was it black and white sometimes or no?
Well, what it was is it was the dude from Twilight Zone, and it was that type of feel. And what it was is he would walk through an art gallery, and then there would be a painting, and so it'd be like, oh, let's talk about this painting, and then it would go into depth about the painting, and it would be like some really scary thing. But the music at the beginning of that used to freak me out. No, Night Gallery, that was a good, and they don't have shit like that anymore. Like it was a little Tales of the Crypt like, but it was spooky. It was much more spookier. It wasn't so much
like
fun.
The paranormal version of Twilight Zone, basically the paranormal.
A little bit, yeah. And well, it was all different things though. It every episode was a little different.
I remember it now.
It was good.
Yeah, I remember this dude. Yeah,
it was good,
I remember him.
They don't have anything fun like that anymore. Like that. Yep, there it is. Rod, it was Rod,
Serling,
right?
Yep.
Rod,
Yep.
But yeah, there was nothing fun. Like my siblings were much older than me. My parents had like 4 kids, and then they didn't really plan on anybody else. And then whoop, there I am, and then my younger sister. So anyway, I had older brothers and sisters that were teenagers, and they would sit me down watching this freaky stuff like Trilogy of Terror, Night Gallery, stuff that gave me nightmares forever.
Probably on purpose too, right? To terrorize you a little bit.
Yep. Trilogy of Terror was definitely, I believe that was my brother. Oh, you got to watch this. Yeah, it scared the shit out of me.
It's great. I promise it's not going to scare you.
I used to like these comedies from over there. I know they were English. One of them was called, remember Benny Hill? And the other one was Are You Being Served? I don't know if you guys ever watched that stuff. That stuff was hilarious, man. Because it was like watching English people, man. And like it was funny. Like in the beginning, I thought it was weird, but then I started really liking it. Cool.
Kathy, do you know that's where I lived in Wisconsin? Did you know that? That's really weird because I lived at Lamira. That's where I lived. And when I lived in Wisconsin for a year, it was in Lamira. That's really funny. I don't know if you knew that before, but that's where I lived.
She's turning the lights on.
Spook just had to. Wow. Sorry about that. We're not trying to spook yet.
Well, you'll have some time to detox because it's not that late. You know what I mean? So, that's where I lived. Well, I lived on Linden. The newer area where the tornado hit.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
Kate.
Lamira, that's where I was. That's so funny because Lamira was a really small town. They didn't like my pink hair, They didn't want to give me a Piggly Wiggly card. They gave me a hard time. They're like, you have to have a Wisconsin ID to get one. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I wasn't going to change. I didn't know if I wanted to stay there forever. So I beat the system, found a Piggly Wiggly in Illinois, and they gave me a damn card. I still have my Piggly Wiggly card somewhere. And yeah, and they kind of gave me a dirty look when I had it. I gotta get
but nowadays.
How could you hate somebody's color of their hair? Like, why do you really worry? Like,
well, because it was a very small town. It's a very
I get it.
Kathy, you get it. I mean, it was a very small town. I lived walking distance from the Piggly Wiggly, Kathy. I'm telling you. And then, oh my goodness, you know where I loved to go eat was Susie's. There was this restaurant that wasn't far from me, and I forget it was like an old-fashioned restaurant. I loved going there. Their omelets were amazing. Yeah, super small. That was me. That's where I lived for a year.
What's the Piggly Wiggly?
It's a grocery store. You've never heard of a Piggly Wiggly before?
Nah.
Yeah.
Not over here.
That's more of a southern thing, isn't it? The Piggly Wigglies.
Well, it's Wisconsin too. Wisconsin, and I think
Midwest
Minnesota also has some.
They don't have them in Ohio that I know of. I know I've come across Piggly.
I don't think they have on the East Coast, do they?
No, it is. I think it's a South thing, and then it's up there. Like I don't think there is. I don't even think Illinois has any anymore. I went to one in Monty Python. Is that what you were talking about? Code.
Oh yeah. That was it. That was a great show too, man. Oh man, Monty Python's. There was another one too. No, that was Twilight because that guy was Son of Sam, right? Twilight Zone.
Yes, the scary movies from the 70s. I always tell people there was a movie. It was John Ritter's first movie. And this is a movie. This is another one that my siblings had me watch. It was about twin boys.
Hey, Blake.
And it was called like The Other Brother. It was from 1969 or 1970. I don't know. And that one was a creepy one. There's an evil brother. There's an evil twin brother. And then there's a good one. Holland. And I forget what the other brother's name is. But yeah, it was John Ritter's like first movie. He's all young in there.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't a comedy whatsoever. I used to have nightmares. At one point in it, they show I think it's something like a pickled baby and a baby in a pickle jar or something. And I remember I'll never forget that from when I was a kid. It took me a long time to find that movie though. Because I had that in my head for the longest time, evil twins and then the baby in the jar. And I found it.
Well, guys, I don't want to ruin the fun, but
leaving on a pickled baby, that's bad.
Yeah, bad timing, huh?
The pickled baby. Oh my God, I seen a pickled baby. Oh no, not the pickled baby. That was a good one.
Well, thank you for having me up. I had a really good time, Johnny.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I thoroughly enjoyed this. I really did.
Well, maybe
thank you, everyone.
I just want to, give an outlet for y'all to at least get away from the bullshit.
Well, to be able to chit chat about things that aren't, you know what, and it's very refreshing at this point in time.
Oh yeah.
In fact, yes, I think John was saying that we might be doing another one of his little silly streams like we did the other day with the sandwiches. I don't know if it's tomorrow or the next day or whatever. So keep an eye out for that.
Nice.
Because you know what? It's very refreshing, especially because when you have something to focus on and you have a direction, like a topic, it's much easier to keep it on track and not, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Baby. The pickle baby. Oh, that's going to be, we're not going to get away from that.
Right?
Did you say pickle baby?
Oh, God.
All right, guys.
All right. Thanks,
Smash
everyone.
that like button. We'll see you next time.
Night.
Good night.
Good night.